I'm your host, Tamara Gady. Welcome to another episode. Today, we're going to talk about building your business in a new market. But first, if you like my content, you're really going to love my escrow team. So let's have a talk about your title needs. I'm really excited to introduce our guests today. They are personal friends of mine, but also a powerhouse husband and wife team in the real estate market. I have with me today Hans and Lyndzie Stroble. They are realtors that have been in the business over a decade now, and they are with Compass in South Lake, Texas. They were relocating their business back in 2020, and I thought that it would be a good idea to have them on the show. There are a lot of people relocating to different markets. And if you're a realtor that is considering having to relocate to a different market, this is going to be a great show, and you're going to end up with a lot of value and takeaways from our conversation today. So welcome, Lyndzie and Hans. I'm so glad to have you today.
Thank you.
I was the first guest on your show.
I know, right?
So it's long overdue that you are a guest on mine. So
Yes.
thank you so much
excited.
for joining us
Thank
today.
you for having us.
I'm going to jump right in because we want to make sure that we're adding as much value and giving away a lot of content today. So let's talk about your move. You moved from Frisco to South Lake. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like you moved different states, but it's still a very different market.
Yes.
So how did you prepare to move your business from Frisco to South Lake?
You know, we were talking about it, and I think our biggest thing is I feel like any good realtor would tell you have to know your market, where you live and where your clients live. And we were lucky enough to know ahead of time, a few months before we moved, that we were making the move. So we started studying the market over there. We set ourselves up on searches. So if a house came on the market or off the market, like we knew about it. And anytime we had a chance, we would like pop over there and check out neighborhoods and try to learn the street names and the different, areas and stuff like that. So really just like familiarizing ourselves with the market, the trends over there, what that looks like. And then also I think trying to learn who's moving there, like the actual clientele that's attracted to this market and why they're attracted to it was a huge thing for us, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that was a big step. It wasn't something that either one of us had really sold in before. So it was kind of nice for us to, like she said, just jump in and really get to know the market, get comfortable with who was moving there, what the houses look like, and completely different world from Frisco. So yeah, it was a pretty big adjustment.
It is a very different world from Frisco. And I want to kind of pick apart what you said a little bit, because one thing that you have to know about places like South Lake or Rockwall, we talked about this on our pre-podcast discussion, is these are kind of closed communities, meaning people in those communities like to work with people and do business with people that are in that community. Mm-hmm. So when you come into that market from a different one, you are reestablishing your business. And there's been tons of conversations about, are you a DFW specialist? Are you a Frisco? Mm-hmm. Like putting forth the effort to have kind of your niche, be really well educated in your niche, figuring out where you are going to be a specialist and really diving into that market. Because I don't like it when realtors say, well, I work anywhere in DFW. Mm-hmm. Well, that's cute, but you can't, okay? Right. Because you don't know what the market's like. It's very different in Fort Worth versus South Lake versus Prosper versus Rockwall, okay? And for you to say that you're a specialist, and I know people are going to boo me when they hear this, but to say you're a DFW specialist is not a thing, okay?
Right.
So when you go from one market like Frisco to South Lake, you really do have to sit there and pick apart the market and figure out what makes it tick, okay? And I think it's super smart what you said, and this is a golden nugget, everybody, to do your consumer research. Who's coming into the market? What are they looking for? What are their needs? What are the needs of the people that live in South Lake, so that you can really educate yourself and be able to sell a buyer or sell a seller on the fact that you're an expert where you live, okay? So do you have anything further about how people could deep dive into identifying what makes a market special for a consumer, or more about like how you really dove it? Because South Lake is hard.
Yeah.
South Lake's hard. There's realtors that have been there for doing it for 30 years.
I think one of the things that we looked at was, okay, what makes South Lake special? And everyone knows it's the schools. There's a lot of town pride. And so sort of jumping into that, I'm literally wearing a Dad of Dragons bracelet.
Of course you are.
But jumping into that, and then Lyndzie got plugged into the schools and that environment really, really quickly. We've got 3 little ones. So she was able to just meet moms and things like that. But there's a certain amount of pride that's different from, you know, like a Frisco or, you know, some of these like mega suburbs, I guess, because Southlake is physically smaller too. That, you know, the radius is sort of a small space. So plugging into that was really important. So yeah, any new agent or an agent that's making their way into a new market, you got to figure out sort of what makes that town tick. And then even you can break it down further, what makes that neighborhood tick from there. So that was something that we definitely wanted to get plugged into.
Yeah, I mean, even like it made me think of we went out and started meeting people in the neighborhood, but like we did a lot of research on the history of Southlake.
Okay.
Like, where did it come from? What has it been through? That kind of stuff. We looked at the politics in Southlake. We had the mayor on our podcast, which was huge.
I remember. Yep.
We had more response from Southlake, you know, people that we didn't know yet than any other podcast we had. But we had the chief of police on too. So
head football coach. You know, they love their football team out there.
That's right. So getting just some of those like big players in the city was a big deal. Getting our faces in the magazines out there, you know, our signs up just so that people could see our names and, you know, be familiar
start to
with
establish
it.
that trust, right? A recognized brand in
Right.
Southlake. You know, I've said this 5 million times, and I'll say it 5 million more. I wish I'd have bought land in Southlake before
Yes.
it became Southlake.
Yes, please.
You know,
Yeah.
dude, and where's the next Southlake going to be so I can buy something there?
I know.
Right?
I know. Yeah.
And that stuff is so hard to predict. But I think that one of the challenges that came from the growth, the type of luxury growth that Southlake saw, because it was farmland, you know, for the longest time.
Right.
There wasn't $25 million luxury homes in Southlake, okay? So this is a more recent, you know, I don't know how old some of those houses are, but I'm guessing 10 to 20 years development of Southlake. I'm sure there was some intention behind of what they did as well to build it out to what it is. But, you know, that's a very difficult community for a real estate agent to break into because everyone wanted to break into it because of the price point of the houses and the luxury market that's there.
Sure.
Right.
And you know, you and I we've had these conversations before about trying to establish relationships with builders and the challenges that you guys have had trying to get your foot in the door with some of the builders, because it is a custom build area, big time. And so that kind of taps into what my next question is. Why don't you guys talk about some of the challenges that you had trying to get your business up and running again in that area? But then I don't want to just talk about challenges, what the challenge is, what the solution was, and then the next part of that, and we can postpone this, but it's going to be, what are the positive things that you've seen as a result of trying to break into the market? So let's start with the challenges and then kind of what you came up with solutions to overcome some of the objections, some of the pushback that you got being new when people are so established there.
Yeah, one of the things that, excuse me, that you touched on was working with builders and seeing that there's not a lot of development because there's a finite amount of land, but there's, you know, we're starting to see some tear downs, things like that. And there are a few new neighborhoods that have popped up.
It's funny because you see this mega mansion and then you see this non-mega mansion. So you know that's leaving some. As soon as those people quit holding out and they sell.
But Lyndzie did a really good job of getting plugged in with the builders pretty quickly. And so we were taking them out to lunch and things like that and just meeting them, seeing what it was that, you know, they were looking to do with their business and what their business looked like, because everyone likes working with brand new and shiny, and we're no different. So
how hard was it to get the meeting?
The meetings weren't too bad, actually. We had pretty good response from the builders. They were happy to sit down with us. I think, and this feeds into challenges and kind of the solutions question. I know I'm jumping ahead, but
it's okay. No, we're talking about it.
Getting them in the seat was great, but then they were real honest with us. Like, well, you know, I went to high school with her. That's why she recommended. You know what I mean? I've been working with her for 30 years, or she knows everybody here. And so that was a little bit harder. But one thing about that is that they're not reaching out to them anymore. And I think they appreciated us being like, hey, we know you're a big deal here. We want to sit down with you. We want your advice. We value your advice, your opinion, you know, that kind of stuff. And I feel like because they've just had these long relationships, a lot of that is, you know, missing a little bit. So just giving them some extra attention and like kind of going the extra mile for the builders over there has has done well for us.
Okay, so that's a golden nugget. Everybody paying attention, because people that are getting fed get lazy.
Get lazy.
Okay?
That's right.
We hear about it all the time with the title company that is owned by the builder, or the lender that's owned by the builder. It terrible experiences because they get fed business and they don't have to care because the business is going to keep coming. I'm not saying these people are being lazy,
Right.
but they're not staying on top of their top clients. Okay? And there are tried and true ways to build any kind of a sales business. And it starts with consistency and follow-up. And you've got to have your sphere set up to where you're not losing touch with people, because, you know, I've noticed it before. I'll be honest. I've lost clients because I haven't paid enough attention to them.
Sure.
And so that, to me, you know, you're still facing a big challenge, because there is that I went to high school with this person relationship. But if you can chip away at them, it may not happen today. You have to, and that's the other thing, is people just drop off. You know, you get tired of trying to chase somebody and you stop doing it.
Yeah.
If you stay consistent and keep a pattern of consistency and contact with people, they're going to throw you a bone at some point, and that gives you the open door to kind of get that person out of the way.
Exactly.
100%.
And there's
So-
still a few we have in our pocket that we're like, we're just going to keep going to keep on.
Just keep
We're coming
on.
for you.
Well, and that's you know, it's sales 101, where you basically say, hey, what does this consumer need, and how can I provide that? And that's something that we went to them specifically and said, hey, we'd love to do business with you. What is it that we can provide you? And they said, well, you know, we need lots, or we need this. And you know, they gave us a list, and then we went to work and said, okay, how do we bring that to them? And so now we consistently send, anytime we come across a lot or anything like that, we send it out to all of them. Like, we're not playing favorites until we get one of you guys to, you know, kind of join our team too. And then, but it's been good and fruitful as far as just information on the neighborhoods. You want to know who knows about a city? Go talk to who's
That's
building
right.
in that city,
Right.
That's
because
right.
they know
Well,
everything.
And I love what you're doing, because it's the same thing I do. How do we create a partnership that's a win-win partnership, right? What is your pain point? What are your challenges? How can I help you solve those? And if I do,
Right.
will you give me the opportunity to work with you, right? And sometimes I don't solve all their problems until they give me a contract.
Right.
I might solve one or two.
Give them a little tips. Yeah.
A little
Put
taste.
the rest in my pocket for later.
Yeah.
You know, see what I can do. So, you know, you can't show them up. I'm not going to say that on the air. I was going to say a saying I say all the time, but I can't say that on the air. You just can't give away the farm, right?
Right.
So you've got to give them enough to show them that you can give them value, and you can solve problems that they have that other people aren't solving for them.
Right.
And if you keep doing that, stay in contact, you're going to win them over. So you guys came to me with the lot problem, and I had a wholesaler working out there. I got one that is just like all they are doing is lot farming.
Yeah.
I'm like, stop with the $50,000 lots in Irving.
I was like, South Lake, there's no $50,000 lots
Well,
in South
no,
Lake.
and I probably need to start reaching out to some more folks for you, because I don't know how successful you have been. You brought up a valid point. There's only a certain amount of land in South Lake. But you have Keller, Colleyville, you know, all the surrounding, Roanoke, Trophy
Westlake.
Club, all of that stuff is not far from South Lake. I know they're probably focused in South Lake, but we can probably do some other things to try to find some more opportunity for you guys. So I love but getting back to your point, I love what you said about you're asking them how you can add value to them, right? And these other people are just relying on the long-term relationship.
Right.
So has it proved to give you some more opportunities, or do you see opportunities coming because of what value you're providing to them?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that we did was, there's a handful of new construction neighborhoods still left in South Lake. And so we did YouTube videos on each of them and got those out there. And we've actually gotten some response from perfect strangers who said, hey, I saw this on YouTube. What do I do? And so now we're able to bring that buyer to that builder, and it's just like, whoa, magic, you know, it's super cool. That,
Wait a minute, so let's, hold on, another girl night. You did a video.
That's correct.
You did a video and you posted it on YouTube and you got some traction from it.
Yes. So yeah, one of the things that we looked, and I would advise any new realtor or realtor shift in markets, is take a look and see what YouTube videos are out there about a specific market that you want to be in. And then, you know,
do it a little better.
Yeah, obviously do it better if you can, or just rip it off. There's no rules against that. So
I plagiarize all the time.
Yeah,
I have
for
no
sure.
original thought. I say that
No new
very loud and proud. If you have a good idea, I'm going to take it.
yeah,
Yeah, make it your own.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of that.
Nobody invented any ideas anymore. I don't
No,
think.
I totally agree. It's not new.
But I think, that's really where you guys are going to get set apart, because I can't tell you how many of our clients will not do a video.
Mm-hmm.
And they're scared,
Yeah.
and it's hard. I mean, it's
is
just like
hard.
public speaking. It's hard when you first start it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's worse than public speaking because you are recorded. So now you can watch yourself over and over again.
Yes.
And I hate my hair and I hate how I sound. And I should have said this differently. So there's a lot of hesitation around
Yeah.
doing video and doing content on social media platforms.
Mhm.
But you guys are proof. And I have a lot of other clients that actually are doing it. It's proof that it works.
Mm-hmm.
It
And
works.
so I love how and there's a lot of ideas. I mean, you can Google realtors on YouTube and come up with tons of ideas for content.
Oh, yeah.
What is, this would be funny. It would just be a funny one. Like, what is $400,000 get you in something?
Right. Nothing. Great video, guys.
But
Like 3 seconds.
But in Roanoke,
Yeah.
or Fuller, you might be okay. But
That's right.
anyway, there's just tons of ideas and I love that you took vacant lots that builders have,
Yeah.
right? They're owned by the builder,
Mhm.
and showcased them on YouTube. I'm assuming you tagged the builder,
Oh, yeah.
and
That
or at
was
least
good for buyer side and builder side, because builders, notoriously, not all of them, some of them are wonderful, but notoriously they struggle with like that kind of stuff. Like they don't have time to
Yep.
be like heavy marketing, the YouTube videos, that kind of stuff. So we had some builders that we were doing, their properties, their lots, and they were actually taking our videos, and there's some that have our like YouTube videos on their website.
love it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it
Love
was amazing.
it. So amazing.
Right. And then we had one client too, they were relocation from another state. And they told us that when they first started looking for realtors, they would lay in bed at night and watch our YouTube channel. We were like,
I
Right.
love it.
I know.
What?
It's like obviously very
awesome.
famous.
Well, it doesn't hurt that you look like Ken and Barbie, by the way. Okay, so
Well, thank you.
the hot realtors in South Lake.
And actually, they gave us a really good piece of feedback, that specific client, that said, one thing that I liked about your videos versus other people's videos is it wasn't just our faces. It wasn't just us talking about South Lake. We were actually going around and showing South Lake or, a specific market and saying, hey, this is what this market looks like. When you live here, you don't need to see my face. You need to see what I'm seeing out of
Right.
my car every day. Like, I'm going to show you what this town looks like.
Yeah.
And that was very conceptually pretty easy to do. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's really good feedback that they
That's good for
appreciated the
relocation
fact that,
clients,
because
especially.
it is crazy. I mean, these people are making these moves across the United States and have maybe never been to the market or maybe been there a couple of times. And it's like, oh, I'm moving my entire family here. And there's a lot of anxiety. So any type of content that we can provide that just sort of creates a comfort with that.
Yeah.
Really
Once you
helpful.
have a couple of those relocation clients, you start feeling kind of more of a responsibility because they're moving their lives and their
Yeah.
families across the state because of what you told them and showed them.
Mhm.
So it makes you want to step up your game and say, like, here's what life is really like here. Which, you know what, that makes me think of another thing that we really had to do when we first moved over was we had to learn our competing areas. So if somebody is moving to South Lake, here's the reasons why. And what other markets are they looking at in DFW that kind of match those? So like the park cities, we're not specialists he's done a lot in the park cities, but if you're coming here and you're looking at like South Lake, West Lake, you're also probably looking at Highland Park,
Sure.
And so we need to be able to speak to that kind of stuff. So when we really dove into South Lake and learning that, we had to learn, kind of all around us that matches that, and then also what are we competing with? Like, are they going to want to go look at houses over here too? And what is the difference? And being able to like showcase those kind of things. So really knowing your competition too, as far as markets. And
I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great golden nugget because people say they have this idea in their head that they want to move to this particular
Right.
part, but they get here and they're like, well, wait a minute, I didn't know about this, that, and the other place, right?
Yeah.
And so I think, if someone's moving to South Lake, there's probably a price point area. You know, you can pinpoint a price point area that they're looking at.
Yeah.
It's not like a $500,000 to $800,000 house, right? Where there's tons of markets that have those houses.
Right.
This is more of a specialty luxury market, and those aren't everywhere in DFW.
Right.
So it would be easy to zero in on some competing markets that would provide them with the same kind of living experience, but it may be a better area for them. And that's why a lot of reload people come here and they get a temporary place to live for a year or two because they don't know, right? And my brain starts thinking about content because content comes so easily. Like once you start doing this stuff, content starts to come so easily to you. Like, there's some really great shopping in South Lake.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's my favorite DSW is
it's a good
there
one.
because they have high-end shoes. Like you could talk about that. But then I think another great video for relocation clients would be partnering with some ancillary services that they would need once they get here, lawn care, financial planners, CPAs, all of those kind of people that would help support their household and do like, hey, this is who I recommend. If you're going to move to South Lake, this is who you need to work with kind of thing. Right.
That's huge. That's huge. When we have relocation clients come here, you slowly start understanding the things they need. I mean, you have your normal list of like, hey, you need your
internet,
house,
phone,
all that kind of stuff. But like even just this morning, I had a client that we just moved to Frisco recently, and she's trying to get her toll tag. And she's like, do I need just Dallas North Tollway? Do I just like little things like that? Like how many tollways are here? How do I get everywhere? I'm like, you're going to need a toll tag.
You will need a toll tag.
It's everything. It's all the little tiny stuff that you don't think about, but you just start adding it to your list, and it's just a value piece to them.
I think it's great because they don't know.
Right.
I think, toll tag, that's kind of, it seems so small.
Yeah.
But it's so huge all at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. Because you need that.
You're going to need that toll tag, babe.
Well, and, there's just so many other things like we talked about shopping, but also things that you need to keep your life put together. Right.
Yeah. She's asked me about, someone to help her clean her house. She's asked me about a hair person. It's all the things that are like real life stuff, right? Like, I know if you need to have your room painted. I know where your electricity comes from. I know all of these things, but like, it's like the real life stuff they need too,
Well, and then you need to partner with, if you're going to feature somebody on a relocation video, you need to partner with them and say, hey, look, I'm going to feature on here, but we need to partner too. Any leads that you get because of what we did, I need you to help me be successful as well.
Right.
And, we need to help each other with leads, right?
Right.
And so I think you could partner with some pretty powerful people and highlight them on social media, give them an extra boost, but then they also need to pay it back too, right? And create that partnership.
Sure.
Skin in the game.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to have skin in the game. So was there a pivotal point in the last 2 years where you guys started to see a change where you really did break in? Have you seen an increase in your business? Have you, we kind of talked about the people, people being more receptive to sitting down and meeting with you, but what is the ROI? Like, have you seen a return on your investment in South Lake yet? And when was that pivotal point?
Yeah. I mean, I would say it probably took a good year, just to get kind of plugged in. Some of these things are going to take time. You got to season a little bit, and you can't just be knocking on doors and saying, hey, we're here and we're going to sell
work
your
with
house
us,
now.
we're the best.
It's
Yeah.
like, I don't know you, and the guy I know from high school is a realtor. He lives next door. So, it's taken a little time, but like I said, one of the big things that Lindsay's gotten really plugged into, she's a PTO mom.
Yes,
I don't even know what that is.
The T-shirt and everything.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal, but yeah, it just but we're starting to see other moms that they're like, oh, I'd rather work with you guys. Like, I've hung out with you. Y'all are fun. Y'all are normal people. Like, I don't want to talk to 65-year-old agent that knows the market, or whatever. It's like, I know you guys. I like you guys. Know, like, trust, all that good stuff. And we're starting to see that fruition. We've got several people that we're actively shopping with, but we're just going to need a little more inventory. So
obviously we realize that the market constraints have been a big challenge. Luckily, we're starting to see some things break loose a little bit more now, but it's okay to be raw and honest about this question because, this is my third industry that I've been within real estate, within DFW. and I know what it takes. I know how long it's going to take. I need, at least a year for it to really be going, starting to go.
Right.
And then my height is going to be at the 3 to 4 year mark.
Yeah.
It's going to take 3 to 4 years to get me to the top.
Yeah.
And, and that's with a lot of grind,
Right.
people.
Nonstop.
Okay. It's nonstop and you are grinding it out, head down, working hard for 3 years. To really establish yourself, because you have to build trust. The first thing is people have to know that you're going to stay where you are, right? And that that they can trust that you're going to be there tomorrow, right? And then you've got to win over their, business, because they have long-standing relationships, right? And that takes time too. What we talked about, consistency and having a presence in the marketplace and those sorts of things for them to start to say, oh, okay, well, they're doing what they need to do to earn my business, right? And so, you guys, it was 2020 when you moved out there, right?
Was.
Right after COVID started. We said, let's get married and move our business and our family all within about 6 months. That was
by the way, you had the most amazing wedding.
Thank you.
Anyway, so it's been a little over 2 years. You guys are still in the building phase of that.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But, you're doing the things, right? And so we'll sit down in another 2 years and we'll have a very different conversation, I think. So,
which is that's a good point, that you have to, keep your head down, work hard. But at the same time, when you're in the building phase of a new market, you have to maintain your old business at the same time. So we still have to, keep an eye on the markets that we serve. Our business is a big part of our business has always been referral based, which we love. But, you have to maintain, I still have to watch what's going on in the Frisco area where we do a lot of business over there, because you can't just let go of what you've been serving this whole time and move in. So it's kind of a balance too for a while of the multiple markets while you're trying to break into this new one.
Yeah, that was a question that I had for you guys. What have you been doing? Are you still maintaining your book of business where you came from? How is that going, juggling the building business that you're doing, the building and business that you're doing in Southlake, and kind of where's the point in which, and maybe you don't know the answer to this, and that's fine to say, we don't know right now, but there may become a point in which you decide not to work with the Frisco market anymore. I don't know that would necessarily be the case. They're not that far from each other, but so how are you keeping up with serving your Frisco business while you're building in Southlake?
Yeah, it's kind of our standard follow-up that we do with every client when we help them buy or sell a house, and just staying in touch, staying in front of them on social media, things like that. And so hopefully, our first thought, or their first thought whenever they're ready to buy or sell again, is, oh yeah, Hans and Lyndzie, or my neighbor's thinking about selling. And we've got 3 of those calls this week where it was like, hey, FYI, my neighbor's thinking about selling. And I was like, all right, well, I'll be there in 10 minutes. So,
right.
But no, it's kind of just staying in touch with everyone. And we're always going to want to take care of our clients, and especially the people that we've done business with in the past. That's going to be really hard to just be like, yeah, sorry, we don't do Frisco anymore.
Yeah, I know it's kind of ridiculous to talk, because Southlake and Frisco are not that far from each other.
Right.
But the conversation, and it is easier for you guys because you're a husband-wife team. You're not an individual realtor trying to deal with all. I think the conversation would be different if it was just you, Lyndzie, or just you, Hans, right? But you guys are able to tag team and work together, or people with teams are able to do the same thing. It would be a different conversation if it was an individual agent.
Right.
At some point, when you're relocating, just in generally speaking, not specific to you guys, but when you're relocating to a different market, you do have to let go of. I have a realtor that moved down here from Oregon, for example. Okay. And he's reestablishing his business here. And he was a big listing agent up there and has a team up there. So what he was doing, I guess, I didn't know there was an influx of people moving here from Oregon or Portland, but
got one of those
Portland,
right now,
right?
actually.
But Portland more specifically. But I see his Facebook posts all the time where it's sold this house here, and then the plane emoji, and then they're relocating to here. So he's doing a lot of buyers here. So we've had a lot of conversations I have with him about, there's going to have to be a point, and he obviously knows this, where he's going to have to just completely let go of that business there. But You have to build up a successful business where you are before you can,
Right.
because you got to pay the bills, right?
Still a thing.
Yeah, then nobody's issuing you a paycheck.
Yeah.
So, and you have a family to support just like he does. So, I think it's probably easier because there's two of you guys that can travel around and make sure that your clients are serviced.
It makes it easy. I think eventually you would have to build a team, which is one of our goals, I think, in a few years. Yeah.
Okay, good. I didn't know
think
that.
I'd like to
I
have
learned
a
something new
small
about
team.
you guys
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, that's our 5-year plan. I think a small team would serve us well just because we love our clients and we've had the best luck with clients. Like they're all wonderful and we love them all. And so I think it would be really hard for us to let go. And maybe it looks like a team for some people, or maybe it looks like a really good referral system, right? Like I'll put my name on this person to help you, but I can't imagine ever letting go completely of, our clients or people that refer to us,
It's hard to think about when you're a sphere realtor, sphere-based realtor, when you work completely off of your sphere, because if you trust somebody else, that's your name on your business, right? Yes. And so my reputation is everything. Without my reputation, I don't get to be Tamara Gady in title anymore.
Right.
So I understand the value of that. I think it would be probably a better bet to just start your team.
Yeah.
Right. And then you can groom them the way that you want to and make sure that they're representing you the way that you would want to be represented.
Yeah.
Quality control. A little quality control.
For sure.
But I think that, and look, kudos to you guys for digging in and staying with what works for you as a sphere and a referral-based agent, because there's a lot of realtors that would move to a different market and it's like, oh my God, I got to start buying leads and I got to do all the shiny technology things to start to generate business in this new market and change who you are. And it extends your build time.
I agree.
Because you're not familiar with how to build a business using those tools.
Yeah.
And you're doing a lot of start and stop because you're trying things that may or may not work right away. And then you're going on to the next product and the next product. So sticking with what works, I think, is super important because you were successful here doing it.
Yeah.
Well, that would naturally make you think that you would be have the same success here doing it. It's just a matter of how much time is it going to take, right? Building your business. And I think that's great information for new agents. When you start in this business, you get 5,000 things, you are hemorrhaging money, okay? With nothing coming back in.
Yeah.
And so I think that you're getting thrown all of these tools and you need this product, you need that product, to build business, you can get a lead here and you get a lead there. I don't advise people to do that. Stick with what works.
Yeah.
Stick with the tried and true ways of building a real estate business. When you get to a certain level and you have additional income for more marketing, sure, explore those things because a lot of that stuff works.
Right. I had a friend of a friend reach out, and he's a brand new agent, and he basically just said, "Hey, what do I do?
Right.
I don't know what to do. I have to do this many deals and this blah blah blah." And he's a young guy, family, everything. And he just jumped ship from oil and gas industry and decided to jump into real estate. And so it's like, okay, yeah, that's scary. I've been there. I did the exact same thing, several years ago. And so I was like, I basically said, hey, do you have something to write with in like 45 minutes? Because I'm about to talk your ear off on things that you can be doing. And it was crazy to me, the number of things that I said, whether it was YouTube or, I listed all the free things first. I'm like, if you're not doing all of these, then start here. And then, you can look at if you want to buy leads or whatever, then once you get there, you can do that kind of stuff. But I was like, there's absolutely something you can be doing every day. It kind of blew his mind. I was like, what brokerage are you with? But it's fine. It was.
And then your response is, do you want to be on my team?
Yeah, right. I was like, I like your hustle already. So if you I was like, go grab you some clients and come join the team. But no, it was, there's several things, and this goes for a new agent or a new market that you can just jump right into. And it's not something that you have to, I guess pay for or build up or anything like that. It's like, no, we didn't know South Lake as well as, people that live there and the agents that have been there for 20 years. So it's like, all right, what do we do to level the playing field a little bit? And so that's when we started and just heavy research and go after, like I said, all those types of free services, leads, value that you can provide. And yeah, it's been good. We're starting to see it turn around a little bit, and it's nice.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I love free things. I love talking to agents about free things. Because everybody thinks you have to spend money, a ton of money to generate business. And you do have to spend a ton of money on your MLS dues and your board and all the other things, your brokerage fees and all of that kind of stuff. You don't have to spend a ton of money to build a real estate business.
Right.
So there's lots of free things. And I've talked about them before on the podcast, and we'll talk about them again. Holding open houses for people in your brokerage, right? That's a great place to start. Work in your sphere, great place to start. There's all kinds of things. We've got farming tools and door knocking campaigns, and I don't know that I would door knock in South Lake. You probably can't get past the gate, but
yeah, that might be tough.
Gated community.
But partnering with local businesses and partnering with people that are established in the business that your clients will need for relocation services. All of those are golden nuggets, kids. We're giving away a lot of free information here today. So thank you for sharing. Are there any last minute pieces of advice or words of wisdom that you could give our audience before we wrap up?
I would say one other thing is to reach out to your Tamaras of the world. Because
there's only one Tamara, by the way.
True. My bad. No, but that was something that was 5-6 years ago now that we met, and you came to me and you said, how can I add value to you? And as a new real estate agent, you'll quickly learn that you're going to get blown up by lenders. You're going to get blown up by title, all of that. And so take the time to kind of get to know them and say, okay, do I like this person? Yes. All right, let's see what we can do to mutually help each other out. And, you guys get as much business as we can possibly give you because you first said, hey, what can I do for you? And so I would say, explore those vendor relationships of people that are already in the business, know this business, and just say, what are you seeing other realtors do that works? I really like working with builders. How do I do that? That type of thing is worth asking these people that have been doing it for a minute. And I think, again, thank you for being awesome several years ago and hooking us up with a direction on some of these things. So, yeah.
Yeah, we need to sit down and have a convo again, a private one offline about where you guys are at. And, because I know you're still looking for land lots. So let me, there's things I can think of that are within my network. And that's how I add value is what are your pain points? What are your challenges? How can I help you solve them? And I have a vast network of amazing individuals that think like I do. And we've been very successful and blessed to build successful partnerships and friendships with people like you guys. So thanks for that. Anything else that we need to add before we wrap up?
I mean, I think if I was going to say anything, it would be also just being yourself, being like true to who you are. Like when we moved to South Lake, I think there was a big pull of like, well, do I need to be less real? And the way we run our business is very much just who we are. We're funny, we're silly, but going into like a luxury market, you're like, ooh, do I need to wear more colors and like stand with my arms crossed?
Keep up with the Joneses. Like how flashy do I need to be?
But it served us well to stay who we are. It served us.
I love that.
I feel like people really appreciate it over there.
Yeah.
People do business with people they know, like, and trust.
That's right.
So thank you guys for being on the show today.
Absolutely.
I am
Thank
such
you.
a fan of both of you. So thank you for giving us all we have got a lot of golden nuggets today. Thank you for joining us on another episode. Again, I'm your host, Tamara Gady. And if you like my content, you're going to love my escrow team. So let's have a conversation about your title needs. You guys make it a great day.